after you've mixed your soil thoroughly, the next thing you're going to do is fill your pot. We're going to be planting 3 bulbs in this pot. So this is a 10 to 12 inch pot. I would strongly recommend 10 to 12 inches and 3 bulbs per pot, and that gives you an elegant visual effect on your deck or in your garden. You fill the pot, as you can see here, we've got about 8 inches of soil in the pot right now. To this 8 inches, we're going to add basically, this is like 2 cups of bone meal. This is a lot of bone meal. You don't have to put this much if you don't want to, but I like bone meal, and so I tend to overdo it with the bone meal. Then we're going to mix it up, thoroughly mix it. Okay, and see, the bulbs will think they've died and gone to heaven. They'll be so excited. All right, so that's what it looks like when it's ready to go. Then you take and you plant your 3 bulbs. They do not, and let me say this, these have started to sprout, but when you purchase them in the spring, in all likelihood you will see no sprouts. That does not mean that they're dead or they're not viable. These are a little old to be going into the ground, so don't look for things with sprouts necessarily. And then what you're going to do is make a rectangle with your sprouts. Final step is to add more of that soil mix so that these bulbs are a good 4 to 6 inches deep in this container. Now, don't panic if you later read or watch a YouTube that says the bulbs, the top of the bulbs have to be on top of the soil. You have to be able to see. You don't have to be able to do anything. It's perfectly okay to bury the bulbs. These are bulbs. They're not human beings. They're a lot smarter than human beings. They'll find their way to the top. They won't rot because there's soil on top of them, because eventually there's going to be soil on top of them no matter how diligent you are about keeping the top of the bulb above the surface of the soil. And there you go. You can water, and you can water heavily, but then you need to let this dry out, and you don't want the soil to stay heavily moist. Gently moist is enough. It takes a long time for these bulbs to sprout in the spring. Don't be surprised if you don't see anything in 4 weeks. Don't be upset if you don't see anything in 6 weeks. Eventually they make up their minds to wake up, and then they start heading for the soil surface and that sun that they love so much. Throughout the summer, it is ideal if you fertilize these bulbs in their pots after they break the surface of the soil with some flower bloom booster, flower tone, blossom booster fertilizer. That's every 2 weeks. But if you're like me, 2 weeks often stretches into 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and sometimes in a really bad year, I forget totally. That first year, it's not as essential as in future years to fertilize. But in future years, you do have to fertilize a minimum of every 3 weeks in order to get the kind of display that we're about to show you. So I use this. You can use whatever bloom booster fertilizer you like, but do fertilize in the years after the first year every 3 weeks. And in the fall, you might think about sprinkling, dusting the surface of the soil with a little bit more bone meal. If you have enjoyed this video, please come to our website,
www.harvesting-history.com, where you can purchase heirloom non-GMO vegetables, flowers, and herbs. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends our channel. On the left side of your screen, there is our most recent video, and on the right side of your screen is one of our playlists. We are Harvesting History, seeding the future.